Thank you, Jim, for having me here. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to be here. And thank you, everybody, for coming out and supporting everything that Jim does. So, I teach a lot, and I perform a lot. Teaching wasn't always a passion of mine, but as I got better at it, I got more passionate about it. And I realized the importance, kind of, dovetailing on what Jim was saying, the importance of education at a young age, music education at a young age, all education, but specifically all the arts, right? And so I do a lot of work with children. I've done a lot of work in the inner city schools in New York City for the past 13 years. I've been going into schools and teaching, and through teaching I've gotten to understand myself better and why I do what I do and how I do what I do, because sometimes you feel like you're pulling these things out of the air and you don't really know how to articulate what it is you're trying to do in a musical context until you sit down with a 13-year-old kid who doesn't care about what you have to say about any tradition, and you have to drill it into their heads day after day after day, and you realize that you have to articulate this stuff in order for them to get it, in order to get them. So, anyway, teaching is a passion of mine, and I'm going to do a performance for you guys. Before I do this performance, because this thing that I've prepared for today, I've never performed before, and it's going to take up my whole time. So I'm just going to talk now before I get into it. So, how did this white guy from Florida, small town in Florida, get to Brazil and learn all of this music and bring it back to the US? This is a question I get all the time, and I think that it relates to what I'm about to perform for you guys. So when I was at the New School University in New York City studying jazz, my drum set teacher was Billy Hart. And Billy Hart's a really famous jazz drummer. And he was more than a teacher, he was a mentor of mine. And so I would hang out with him at his house, and we barely touched the drums. It was all philosophy. Where does rhythm come from? Why does Brazil and Haiti and Cuba all have something in common with New Orleans? You know, what's the importance of Congo Square, and where was the drum set invented and why? All of these things we talked about for years and years, and throughout that he was teaching me Brazilian rhythms, the typical bossa nova and samba stuff. And then after a few years, I said, well, Billy, is there any other rhythm from Brazil that I should learn? He goes, yeah, man, there's this rhythm from the Northeast called maracatu. And I pointed to the drum set. I said, well, show it to me, man. He goes, man, I don't know how to play it. I just know it's a badass rhythm, and you got to go learn it and come back and teach it to me. And he said it just like that, too. And I basically packed my bags after I graduated. About 3 months after I graduated from the university, I packed my bags and I moved to Brazil. And I lived there for a year. And I got really deep in the music, as deep as I could in a year. And it was pretty deep because I was living with my mentors in Brazil. And it was just wake up every day and study this stuff. And a lot of strange things happened to me musically, because all of a sudden I started to realize all these connections that this music had with the music I grew up listening to in the South. Cajun music, Zydeco music, New Orleans second line, funk music, the blues, all this stuff I grew up hearing. I started seeing all these connections. And so living in Brazil kind of made me miss my culture and made me appreciate my culture more. So when I came back from Brazil, one of the things that I really wanted to do was find a way of bringing these cultures and these musical influences that I had fallen in love with and had a passion for. I wanted to bring these cultures together. And that's what this performance is going to be. And so before we start, the most important thing about the music that I'm passionate about is community. And that means everybody's involved. So you guys are going to get involved in this. Alright? So I would ask everybody to stand up, but we'll see where it goes. So the rhythm that I got deep into in the northeast of Brazil is called maracatu. Can you guys all say maracatu? Maracatu. Beautiful. Now, when I say tu maraca, I want you guys to say tu maracatu and clap right there. All right? Tu maraca! Tu maraca! Tu maraca! Tu maraca! Tu maraca! Tu maraca! Beautiful. Now, The next part is when I say doom, skid, doom, skid, doom, skid, doom, 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 you're gonna say, hey! Doom, skid, doom, skid, doom, skid, doom, doom, doom. Hey! Doom, skid, doom, skid, doom, skid, doom, doom, doom. Hey! Tumaracá! 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 Doom, skid, doom, skid, doom, skid, doom, doom, doom. Hey! Doom, 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 doom. Whoop! Doom, 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 doom. Whoop! Doom, 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 doom. Whoop! Beautiful. Now we're gonna do that together. The sample you're hearing is from a traditional maracatu group called Maracatu Nação Estrela Brilhante. Here we go. Tumaracá! 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 Hey! Whoop! Tumaracá! 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 Now this is the clave of maracatu. Everybody clap.
Civilizado em menos de um segundo vai fazer muito sucesso nos quatro cantos.
boa noite, eu lhe dou, boa noite, eu vou lhe dar, boa noite, meu povo todo, boa noite, meu Ketua, boa noite, eu lhe dou, boa noite, eu vou lhe dar, boa noite, meu povo todo, boa noite, meu Ketua, boa noite, eu lhe dou, boa noite, eu vou lhe dar, boa noite, meu povo todo, boa noite, meu Ketua, boa noite, eu lhe dou, boa noite, eu vou lhe dar.
all I got. That's all I got. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jim.